Yo, it's Darryl Syms. Today I'm going to be showing you my setup and how I record my YouTube videos and all that cool stuff. So let's check it out. So on the left we have my MacBook Pro, which is basically the heart of the entire station. That's plugged into my Dell monitor, which is basically a bigger screen so that I can do more things in one place. This is especially handy for my video and audio editing because I just have more screen real estate to press controls and stuff. Either side of that is my M Audio BX5 studio monitors, which are fantastic. And if it's nighttime and I've kind of got to keep quiet, I will use my Panasonic RP-HTX7 headphones, which are really cool, but they're kind of falling apart, so I kind of need to replace those soon. But very good budget headphones for those on the cheap. Another budget item I have here is the M Audio Keyrig 49. Next to that is my Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. It's very important that you have a decent audio interface because everything essentially goes through that, and if you've got a crappy interface, then you're going to have latency issues and quality issues perhaps as well. So that's kind of everything that you see on the desk, but underneath the desk is my Cornford 2x12 cab, which I'll basically shove an SM57 in front of. And there's my Cornford MK52 head. Here are my main guitars. This is my Ibanez RG, and I love this thing to bits. But if I'm doing an acoustic track, I will use my Martin GPC PA5K. Very interesting name. Now you might be wondering why all this foam is kind of just shoved behind my desk. That actually is, or it was, an isolation box in my previous room before I moved into this one. But I no longer have room for that or need for it, so I kind of just use it as soundproofing along the walls at the moment. Okay, so now I'm going to go through how I record electric guitar. So first off, I'm going to set up the SM57. When I record acoustic guitar, it's kind of similar, except I plug the acoustic guitar straight into the Focusrite. There's a standard Fishman pickup in the bridge, and then in the sound hole you can just about see a K&K Trinity microphone. So that'll go from the stereo output at the bottom of my Martin into this K&K preamp, which has two independent volume knobs for the pickup and the microphone. And then on the back I can kind of separate those outputs into the Focusrite. And then from the Focusrite that goes into Logic Pro 10. So this is the camera that I use. It's the Canon 700D. Now you'll see in some of my videos I have different angles, so that could be the same camera just put in different spaces. Or if it's a live video, I'll actually use two of these. One will be stationary and one will be manned. Okay, so now I'm going to show you exactly how I record my electric guitar. This is me just noodling around before actually going for the serious take, as you do. Alright, so here I am on Logic 10. This is the audio that you've just heard me play, and this is what it sounds like dry with no processing whatsoever. So I don't like to add effects on before I record, because once they're on you can't take them off, so I like to do all the processing in Logic Pro itself. So most of the time I'll start off with a compressor, and I don't like too much compression, so I'll just sort of use my ear so that I'm taking maybe 1-2 decibels of gain reduction. You don't want too much compression because it sounds obvious and nasty. Now I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm going to leave that one off, in fact, for now, because generally you can see the peaks aren't too indifferent. Now I'll always add reverb on tracks, and even possibly before that some delay. So let's start off with some stereo delay. So I like to keep this default, really. Maybe I'll take that down to 20 because I don't want it too noticeable. So we got so it adds just a little bit of dimension in there. And if we add on top of that a little bit of reverb. So this is the factory default setting. I want a really big reverb on this, so I'm going to go to large spaces, halls, and use the Long Dream preset. And I'll start with it off and sort of add it as I go along until I like the sound of it. Okay, so I like that, that sounds good. Now I won't always use a big reverb, sometimes I'll use a smaller one, so medium spaces, halls, there's a nice small guitar hall preset here, which is something that I use more often. This particular recording I just fancy using a bigger reverb. So that sounds okay. Usually that'll be it for the guitar track, and then I'll bounce that, but I want to try something else here. I've got a bus channel here with some EQ, pitch shift, reverb, compression, reverb, a bunch of stuff, and that sounds like this. Okay, so that sounds kind of cool. I'm going to bounce that. Now usually I would bounce it as a PCM, a WAV file, and then master it. But for the example of this video, I'm not going to go into mastering at all. I'm just going to bounce it as an MP3 and use it just like that. Okay, so real quickly now I'm going to show you how I edit my videos. So I've just dragged in the two files, the video file straight from my camera and the test audio that we produced on Logic Pro. Now if I have more than one camera angle, I'll right click and create a new multicam clip so that I can kind of go between the takes very smoothly and they're all in sync. However, because I only have two here, I'm going to synchronize the clips. Okay, and that'll give me this here. So I'll drag that onto the timeline. And over here on the audio, you can see both audio tracks. This is the one from the camera and this is the one from Logic. Now we only want this little segment from Logic, so all of this stuff is just me noodling. So I'm gonna get rid of that, and you can see the wavelengths here. There's only this little bit here which I want, so I'm gonna cut around that, delete the excess, and zoom in. There we go. Now usually how I generally do all my videos real quickly, I'll put in a title. Okay, I'm just going to do this real basic and real quick, and I'm literally just going to call this one test. I'll set the font how I want and just sort of centralize it if need be, and I'll also add a transition on each side just so everything's nice and smooth. I'll also add a letterbox effect. Here we are. So I'll drag that on the video track, and here it is. I'll set it like that. Maybe offset the video slightly so that you can see the guitar. And then maybe even add a color correction too. So if there's a lot of one particular color that I don't like, I can get rid of that, or even change the whole color of the video to suit the mood. But I'm not going to do anything with this one because it's okay. I'll also add a little outro, you know, a fade out kind of thing with my social media links on the end. I'll also add a transition at the beginning. So that's kind of it really. This one's nice and easy. So then I'll just share the file, Apple devices, 1080p. I'm going to call this one test video. So once that's done, here it is, ready to upload onto YouTube. And there you go. So I hope that answered some of your questions and inspired you to make your own videos. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.